Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Scoops VFLW Game Changers. I'm your host, Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of the VFLW Game Changers. Well, Round 1 of the VFLW season is done and dusted. Some teams, I think I got all the tips correct off the top of my head. I had tipped Sandy to beat Darabin. They did that. Had North to beat Carlton. They did that. I had Collingwood to beat Casey. They did that. I gave the Bulldogs a chance, and they actually were leading the first half against Williamstown, but Williamstown got the win in the end. So I think that's the only one I got wrong off the top of my head. So did pretty well. Got only one wrong. Obviously said Carlton would get beaten. They did. I said Essendon would get beaten. They did. So yeah, I think I done really well. I don't think there was any real shocks of the round. I had said Box Hill were going to smash Geelong, and they did that. So I think I did really well, to be honest. A 12-team competition, a top 6, as I said last week, make finals. And really there was no surprises. I went the Bulldogs kind of in a roughy tip, even though they were in the grand final last year. But, you know, it is what it is. All right, now on the show today, I'm going to, for the first time ever on this show, as it wasn't on last week's show, we'll have two new segments for this show. Scoops Goes Bang, which is a heavily debated segment worldwide. The world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang, is on every podcast episode I have, including Kick It to Scoops and the Scoops AFLW show. And now I'm going to incorporate it into this show when it's needed. So I'll have a certain topic to rant on about on the show this evening. The return, or the debut, there's going to be a lot of debuts on this particular show, but return from other shows I do. My VFLW Team of the Week will be revealed right here on the show this evening. I'm going to review the rounds just gone and upcoming. If you haven't checked out episode 1, please go and do so. I highly recommend. It's got all my season predictions, my best and fairest league winner prediction, my leading goalkeeper prediction, and, well, let's just say my goalkeeping predictions starting with a bang. It was Nike to Jock from the Roos, who kicked 3 goals, is equal first in the leading goal kicker for the VFLW competition so far. So I'm really happy with that. My Brownlow prediction was Maddie Torpy. Unfortunately, the Saints in the AFLW lost Emily Fiedler, who plays for the Saints, who played for Sandy on the weekend and unfortunately done her ACL. So I did say if Maddie Torpy was to play the entire VFLW season, she could win the Brownlow medal, the Scoops medal as well. So now I feel like the Saints may sign up Maddie Torpy. She has that connection with St Kilda. She was part of the Sandy Dragons, which is St Kilda's Coates Talent League affiliate. They train them a rabbit and everything like that a lot of the time. They're connected in a way as well. When Sandy have players play from the Talent League, it's always play some Sandy Dragons, or the majority of the time it is anyway. So I'm in the VFLW now competition. Prior to this season, Maddie Torpy, who was from Sandy Dragons and was at the Southern Saints, which is now Sandy VFLW. He's now at Box Hill. So wouldn't shock me if the Saints try and sign up Maddie Torpy pretty quickly. So I'm sure Geelong will be looking at a ruck as well in the AFLW competition. So there's some news for you. Don't be surprised if Maddie Torpy ends up being the newest Saints AFLW signee. So we'll have to wait and see. To be honest, I think it'd be a great move for the Saints if they were to go down that path. So yeah, that was my prediction. So we'll wait and see. Now, in terms of my Scoops VFLW medal, just like the Scoops AFLW and AFL medal, it will be at the end of the home and away season of each competition. So I won't be doing a week-by-week votes on the show. I like to have a big extravaganza show. And hopefully for that show also, I'll have a co-host, just like I did the inaugural Scoops AFLW medal. I had Swans AFLW star Brenna Tarrant BT on. Hopefully we can have a player on from the VFW competition for this Scoops VFW medal. In terms of a co-host for this actual show and through the entirety of the season, I've been talking to a few people, but nothing's locked in stone with any of them. So if you're a player watching this or a fan and you want to be on this show, please message me on Instagram, AFL Info Live. It'll be attached in every platform you're watching this on, basically. But on the screen there, AFL Info Live. Please follow my page. I would greatly appreciate it. On Instagram, send me a message or follow me back, and I'll send you a message because of the Instagram settings thing. It may not come through. Follow me back, and your message should come through. Or, yeah, message me or follow me, and I'll send you a message back on Insta. But yeah, hopefully soon, though, I may have a player or two on this show, maybe as a co-host for a random episode here and there. Hopefully we can have some on, and more the merrier. Just because I potentially may have one co-host doesn't mean I don't want a third person on and a fourth person on, and you know the drill. More the merrier, I say, with people on, because that's what will make this even better than it already is. All right, for the first time ever on the VFLW Game Changers show, please welcome the world famous segment. It's worldwide. Scoops goes bang. Wow. One thing that's always annoyed me about the state league competitions is the shot clock, the time clock, whatever you want to call it. Why does the clock not stop? I understand that's the rule, but that shouldn't be the rule. Now, there's so many games that I attended last year in the VFLW competition where the clock stopped on dead set 20 minutes right on it. And I don't like that. It gives people the opportunity to fake injuries, have cramp, kick the ball into the crowd, and the ball takes 30-odd seconds to come back and you're killing time. Whether you're killing 10 seconds is very valuable in footy. Like, there's been games where that's happened, but there's one game I always go back to. It was in the VFLW competition. We have the same rules as the VFLW in regards to the time clock and everything like that. The Swan Districts were down by like 2 points or something. It was about 65 seconds left, so a minute and 5 seconds to go. Had the ball 60 meters out from their own goal on the boundary, on the right boundary. The player had the ball, and someone for the opposition was laying on the ground from that mark, which was probably just cramp or whatever. They were faking an injury. And then they stayed down the entire 1 minute and 5 seconds. Then as soon as the siren went, they magically jumped up like nothing happened. Now, you can say it's within the rules to do so, yada, yada, yada. But I really don't like it. And that invents people to cheat. It ruins games. It ruins the scoring as well. Because it happens far too often. Like, for example, on the weekend, the ball went into the crowd and it took like 50 seconds to get the ball back. Like, that's 50 seconds right there wasted. So I don't like that rule. It really does need to change. And it's always annoying me in any competition that does that. It's within the rules, but it shouldn't be a rule to be exploited. It shouldn't even be there. It should just be like the AFL and AFLW. The clock should stop every time there's a stoppage and everything like that. In fact, the AFLW, I don't think, stops entirety into the last 5 minutes of each quarter. So that also needs to be fixed in the AFLW level as well. You need to stop the clock from continuing to run. It is ridiculous. It needs to be stopped and fixed, effective immediately. Don't wait 5 years down the track. Now, before this round starts, do it now. I wonder what you all think about that, because I truly don't like it that the clock continues to run no matter if it's a goal or whatever. I think only on a stretcher they stop it. Now, there was a game on the weekend, the Sandy game. I believe it was the third quarter. I don't know who the player was, but there was a player on the ground for Darebin. On the ground for about 30-odd seconds, 45 seconds. And the clock only gained like 15 seconds extra. So you waited 30 seconds to stop the clock. Like, that's an umpiring thing. Like, stop it immediately. It's just frustrating. You killed time. Now, Sandy won the game by heaps, but that's not the point. The point of the matter is the clock should stop and should get 20 full minutes of footy without the stoppages and goals happening, everything like that, and the time continues to go. That clock should stop. Every stoppage, every boundary throw in, every goal, every behind, every delay, everything. And that will also help make the scoring even better too, which is a good thing, right? So the clock should stop all the time. So the competition, please fix it, because it's really, really annoying. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed that edition of the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. All right. Now, also for the very first time, please welcome the Scoops round 1 VFLW team of the week. All right. Let's just say there may be a fair few ex-AFLW players on this list, or current. From the back line. Oh, by the way, also, I noticed too that some team of the weeks in women's footy is only 21, but I've gone 23 players for each week. So 6 defenders and 6 forwards and 5 on the bench. Because I know they do like 4 on the bench and they have 5 in the back line and 4 line, but I'm doing 23. How it should be when they do these team of the weeks and everything like that. From the back line, the pockets, Jen Lawson-Tavern and Kyla Forbes. Fullback, Tamsin Crook. Half back line, the flank is Imogen Evans and Sarah Sinetti. Centre half back, Tessa Boyd. Wingers, Caitlin Fletcher and Madison Ford. Centre woman, Dom Carbone. Half forward line, the flankers, Stacia Stevenson and Janome Anderson. Centre half forward, Chloe Hunt. Forward line, the pockets, Sophie Locke and Caitlin O'Keefe. Full forward, Nike DeJock. Ruck, Kate Reynolds. Rovers, Ange Gogus and Talia Sanger. Interchange, Maddie DeCosmo. Isla Baldwin, Caitlin Bunker, Anne Muir and Megan Misford. The emergencies, Octavia D. Donato, Amy Karras Brett, Megan Fitzsimon and Chloe Adams. So that is my VFLW team of the week. Now, so I'm going to explain a few of these selections. Let's put it on the screen too. But actually, before I even do that, let me get that back off for just a second. It's another Scoop Series Bang Ran, actually. Can the apps that record stats please do what they do in the AFL and AFLW? Please show their heat map, their disposal efficiency, meters gained, where they're getting the ball and everything like that. That would also make things so much easier for a lot of people that can't watch every single game. Unfortunately, there's about 1 million games on at once. It's really hard to keep track. I watch some games on the weekend, but it's hard to keep up with all of them, especially when they clash with each other, or you've got 50 other games on at once. It's hard to watch everything at once. So needing those stats could drastically help as well. And like also replays to watch games and everything like that, that'd be great. And match reports, everything. I think each club needs to do a match report properly and like a breakdown on each player's performance as well. And also when they name team sheets, don't do it in alphabetical order or jumper number order. Actually name them in the positions they play. So, right, that's another mini rant for you. So, this is the team, as I said. So, Jen Lawson-Tavern playing for North Melbourne's VFLW side now, played really well against her former AFLW side in Carlton and held her own in the back line. Tamsin Crook for the Bulldogs, probably could be an All-Australian key defender for the competition this year, let alone the Bulldogs. Kyla Forbes played for Sandy, a St Kilda draft prospect, had about 16 disposals, held her own, about 7 intercept possessions, done really well. Imogen Evans, 21 disposals for the former Pie, playing for Sandy now, which is St Kilda's AFLW affiliate side. There's a lot of ex-Pies in this side, and Imogen Evans held her own. 21 disposals, pretty bloody impressive if you ask me. Could be a steal pickup for Sandy. Tessa Boyd, an ex-Sandy player, Southern Saints, playing in North Melbourne. Her intercept marking and defending was really good on the weekend, and her stats proved that. Sarah Sinetti, the former Pie, playing for the Bulldogs VFLW side, held her own in the back line, 21 disposals. Caitlin Fletcher had 19 disposals, played in the midfield for the Roos as well. When the game was in the balance, in other words, at the start of the game, because it was dead and buried by half-time, Caitlin was heavily impactful in that time frame and absolutely deserved to be in the team. Dom Carbone, the former Bulldogs captain, who's now the Collingwood captain, played for the state side in that VFLW versus AFLW a few weeks back and held her own then and has done so in round 1. She was really, really influential for 21 disposals in the midfield. Madison Ford had 21 disposals and was good for the Bombers. Stacia Stevenson, a former Eastern Ranger player who unfortunately wasn't drafted. I don't know why. She kicked 2 with 16 disposals and showed why she deserves to be on an AFLW list. Janome Anderson, who's currently on the Saints AFLW list, was fantastic. Kicked a goal, the first ever goal in Sandy VFLW history. It will be in record books forever. Very good pressure forward, can tackle, and makes you earn the bloody ball. Try getting through Janome. I wouldn't recommend trying to run through her because Janome will tackle you straight to the ground. 16 disposals, kicked a goal, as I said. Had like 6-7 tackles as well. So Janome Anderson is a good player and is going to be a great acquisition, continuing to be a great acquisition for the Saints. Someone who should be on an AFLW list, and I've made this abundantly clear, the time Hawthorn let her go and before the season started, and I'm going to continue to say it, I'm going to be on the Sophie Locke bandwagon this entire season until she's back on an AFLW list, and even then when she hopefully rightfully gets back on a list. Soph was fantastic for the Sandy side. Sandy Saints, I'm going to probably keep mixing them up. For Sandy, 3 goals, 7 disposals, like 3 tackles. Her goals were fantastic. 2 of her 3 goals were from long range. Her last goal, which is what I posted on Instagram, so go and check it out. She took a great mark before the footage that I posted. Wish I had captured that in time, but she took a great mark, good strong mark, one-on-one mark, which led to that 3rd goal from about 40 out. Soph is a star and should be on an AFLW list. And that's one of many interesting selections that Hawthorn and Daniel Webster made at the AFLW. Letting Charlotte Bascarin go was another one, who also played for Sandy on the weekend, the newest Saint star, young star recruit. Caitlin O'Keefe for Port Melbourne, a forward, kicked 2 goals, about 14 disposals, was one of the best on the ground for Port Melbourne and in that game as a whole. Nike DeJock for Roos, leading goal kicker last year, or equal leading goal kicker last year, kicked 3, started the game all right, and then really picked it up in the middle part of the game, and no one could stop Nike DeJock, and no one will come the end of the season when she probably wins the goal kicking yet again. That's also if she isn't picked up by an AFLW club before this season finishes. Kate Reynolds, a former Swans ruck, who had a lot of injuries while at Sydney, including an ACL injury, has always been a star for North Melbourne. Last year, the Premiership ruck, had about 30-odd hit-outs again and about 10 disposals, was really, really good. Ange Gogas for Darebin Falcons had 24 disposals, about 7 score involvements or something like that, or 1%ers. Intercept possessions. 1%ers is another stat that the apps don't record, which is really annoying because that's an important stat as well. Ange was terrific for Darebin Falcons and easily their best player. Talia Sanger, on debut for the Pies VFLW side, 24 disposals, like 8 clearances, was just phenomenal. The best player of the round for me was Talia Sanger. Maddie DeCosmo, 21 disposals and a goal for the Roos, former Blue, her 2nd season now at the Roos VFLW side. Did a lot of her work late, but still great nonetheless. Isla Baldwin, who for the Box Hill Hawks, kicked 2, had about 18 disposals, really, really good. I was really contemplating, sorry, she didn't kick a goal, but she had 17 disposals, like 8 clearances or something, and, or 7 it was. I was really contemplating, where I put her in the team. Like, do I put her on the field? Do I not put her on the field? Like, I was really torn where to put her in the team lineup. But in the end, I decided to put her on the bench easily. I was trying to put her on the field, but a lot of those other midfielders just, were pretty damn impressive. So Isla Baldwin was absolutely terrific with 17 disposals and 7 intercept possessions. She had 4 inside 50s as well on top of 3 intercept possessions. Caitlin Bunker, 21 disposals for the Darebin Falcons, also was pretty serviceable. Anne Muir, one of the newest recruits for the Collingwood VFLW side, the former Box Hill player. And Megan Misford, 21 disposals for the Bombers in a pretty dominant display. And Octavia Di Donato, around 20 disposals for the Blues, former Eagle, and was formerly at Carlton's VFLW side before her stint at the Eagles VFLW side for half a season. Amy Karras-Brett for Box Hill was really good as well. Megan Fitzsimon had around 18 disposals. And Chloe Adams, the current young star at the Bombers AFLW side, was pretty good as well, with 17 disposals in their loss to Port Melbourne. So that is my VFLW Round 1 Team of the Week. All right, so let's now review the Round 1 games, shall we? North Melbourne against Carlton. I mean, North Melbourne did what I expected, 65-17. Carlton are no good. It's simple as that. They're going to be in for a tough year, like a few other sides, like Casey, and potentially Darebin as well, and Geelong and Essendon. So I made it clear last week. All those sides are just listed: Carlton, Casey, Darebin, Geelong, and Essendon won't make finals. So I'm confident with the majority of them. That's for sure. They won't make it. So it's down to the other 7 sides to make the 8, to make the 6. Sorry, the top 6. But yeah, North, Caitlin Fletcher, Nike DeJock, Tessa Boyd, Jen Lawson Tavern, Kate Reynolds, all in my Team of the Week, all fantastic. And they deserved a spot in the Team of the Week, all of them, and they were all influential against the Blues. I thought Lulu Field was pretty good for the Blues, who's just been drafted to the AFLW side, a 3rd-round draft pick. I thought she was pretty good as well. 3rd selection, for Carlton in that draft where they picked up Sophie McKay, father-daughter to Carlton, and now can join her sister Abby McKay at the Blues will Soph. But yeah, that's North Melbourne for you. No surprise. They're the reigning premiers for a reason. Carlton are no good. Geelong 30, smashed by the Hawks 88, 58 points. 48 points was North, 58 points was Box Hill. Box Hill did what Box Hill were expected to do. Geelong, no shock. Jemima Woods, who was at Richmond's VFLW side, kicked their first ever goal, or her first ever goal as a Geelong VFLW player, the first goal of that game for her and the team. She was serviceable. Mel Staunton, who came across from Carlton, their captain, had 20 disposals as well. But there wasn't many highlights for Geelong. Box Hill, it was everywhere. Stacia Stevenson kicked 2 goals in about 16. Isla Baldwin was great. Maddie Torpy was solid in the ruck. Mia Zielinski up forward kicked 2 goals as well. It was an all-round great effort for the Box Hill Hawks. A very good side. They complement each other really well. They recruited heavily, so they should do well. But yeah, in this game, they were all over Geelong as expected. Their next game to go through was Sandy and Darebin. Sandy 53, Darebin 21. Sandy by 32 points. Again, as expected, Sandy recruited heavily. Ellery Morris, Erica Fowler, Lauren Brazzali, Imogen Evans, all ex-Collingwood AFLW players. Jordan Membry, who hasn't played yet, who is an ex-Gold Coast AFLW player, and obviously well-established superstar already, Sophie Locke, ex-Box Hill, ex-Hawthorn AFLW player, deserves to be on a list. I am still lost for words at that. Imogen Evans, 21, was fantastic. Erica Fowler, who had to go in the ruck after, unfortunately, Saint AFLW ruck, Emily Fiedler, unfortunately done her ACL, so we wish Emily all the best in her recovery. So Zoe Bazanko, a draft pick for us from this recent draft. I thought she'd done all right. Kyla Forbes, another Saints AFLW draftee, did really serviceable in the back line. Her left foot kicking was on show. Sophie Locke was awesome. Ellery Morris held her own, the ex-Pie, in defence, where she played that a little bit at Collingwood in the back end of her season there last year. I thought, too, there was a few other players that, fly under the radar a little bit in terms of their performance. We're talking about these ex-AFLW players and Saints current players. Lily Skinner was another one who played really well, a Sandringham VFLW listed player. She played really well, had about 16 disposals and really held her own. Courtney 80 in the back line. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. She was terrific down in the back line as well. So an all-round dominant effort from Sandy. They hit the ground running. They smashed it from the start. And then Darebin were trailing by 4 or 5 goals for the rest of the game. So credit to Sandy for their great start. And Sophie Locke, a well-rounded game, as I've mentioned already. For Darebin, Caitlin Bunker and Ange Gokus their two experienced players were their two best. There's a few other players with Darebin that, may fly under the radar in terms of their performances. But there's a few I want to highlight too. I thought, held their own in the back line, or just in the team rather, was, a few players, you get a few young players in that side that made the debut. They had like 8 or 9 club debutants. Darebin, Lulu Beattie, who was a big recruit from Carlton's AFLW side, did not play. I'm not sure why. I'm going to assume she's injured, because she would be, a great acquisition for that side that has no AFLW listed players in there. So if they were to add her into the team, it would, make their team look so much better. Yeah, Taylor Tosi at 12 disposals. I thought she was really, really good. And Katie Coco Chia, I thought played a role down in the back line as well. Last year's equal leading goal kicker with Nike to Jock was Monique Di Matteo. She was held to 3 disposals by the Sandy defence, so credit to Sandy there. All right, the next game we're going to go through is Casey 19, Collingwood 47, Collingwood by 28. As expected, Melbourne had a few AFLW players play for Casey. Megan Fitzsimon, Georgia Gall, who kicked a goal for Casey. Fitzy was solid for the Demons. Gabby Colvin, another Melbourne AFLW player, played. Riley Witherspoon had about 13 tackles, as shown that she can tackle, and had about 13 disposals as well. On top of that, 16 actually, so she played really well. Riley Witherspoon. For the Pies, Lily Rose Williamson played in the state game as a forward, played a bit in the back line on the weekend, which surprised me a little bit. She killed it as a forward last week in the state team, so I feel like she should be playing up forward. Talia Fellows was the same, but she was a bit more quiet for this game. But Dom Carbone was terrific, as was Talia Sanger, as I mentioned earlier. Absolute gun debut performance of 24 disposals, like 8 clearances, was fantastic. But Collingwood beat them from the start, just like Sandy did. Port Melbourne 49 defeated the Bombers 30. Port Melbourne by 19 points. Caitlin O'Keefe was really good. Georgia Booth kicked 2 goals and about 10 hitouts. Obviously plays basketball as well for the Bendigo Spirit in the WNBL. Is playing basketball as well during the week some weeks, which is credit to her commitment in both sports, but to multitask both sports. I know Mon Conti plays WNBL for the Geelong United side, and obviously plays for Richmond's AFLW. The superstar of the AFLW competition is Mon Conti. So there's a few dual athletes in women's footy playing both AFLW/VFLW and WNBL basketball as well. So credit to both of them for doing a great job. So, yeah, Collingwood control that from the start. But Port Melbourne, they weren't way ahead, but they always had a lead, but the Bombers were always circling. Madison Ford and Megan Misford did well for the Bombers. Caitlin O'Keefe, Georgia Booth, Molly in the ruck was really, really good as well. Mahoney. So that's Molly Mahoney. It's a long last name. The last game, Western Bulldogs 18 defeated by Williamstown, 18-28. Williamstown by 10 points. Credit to the Bulldogs for sticking through the game. They were in front at the start of the game. Williamstown did what they had to do. I didn't think there was any major standouts for Williamstown. I just thought there was an even contributors along the board. For the Bulldogs, Tamsin Crook, Steph Asiak, who's their new captain. Trinity Skenderis was really good as well. I just think, they did really well with the new players they have. But I don't think they're going to make finals this year. They're a chance, clearly. But it's not going to shock me if they don't make it. So that's all the games for round 1. So let's now wrap this show up with previewing the round 2 games and my predictions. Let's see if I can get a perfect round again. Well, almost did. So we got Friday, 10:35 a.m. Victorian time at Arden Street. It's North Melbourne hosting Williamstown. I'll be going for the Roos in this one by 17 points. Saturday, 10:05 a.m. at Winton Oval. It's Western Bulldogs hosting Darebin. I'm going to go the Bulldogs by 12 points here. Saturday, 11:05 a.m. at Windy Hill. It's the Bombers hosting the Pies. I'll be tipping the Pies in this one by 18 points. 12:05 p.m. at Deakin Uni in Geelong. It's Geelong hosting Carlton. I'll be tipping. I'll be tipping. I'm tipping Geelong in this one by 1 point. 2:05 p.m. at RSAA Park, Moorabbin. It's Sandy hosting the Demons, KC Demons. I'll be tipping Sandringham in this one by 36 points. And the final game of the round, in Wonthaggi, Recreation Reserve, Box Hill hosting Port Melbourne, 2:35 p.m. Victorian time on Sunday. I'll be tipping Box Hill in this one by 18 points to get the job done over Port Melbourne. Thank you all for watching episode 2 of the VFLW Game Changers show. My game changers for this round were Talia Sanger and Sophie Locke. Thank you all for watching the VFLW Game Changers hosted by yours truly, Scoops. If you know any VFLW players you want to see on the podcast in a golking challenge and or interview, please do send me a message or try and get something sorted. Or if you want to be a co-host for an episode or two or for the entire season, send me a message on Instagram, AFL Info Live. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, take care and go, you mighty sandy zebras. Zebras, yeet.